Okay, so God was showing me that so many of us are about to experience a death and resurrection in our lives. Okay? He says so many of us, he was showing me that so many of us are about to experience a death and a resurrection in our lives, right? And how he was showing me this basically, God asked me about a thing. He basically asked me what I wanted. And I looked into it, and I told him. And then he said, "Are you sure?" And I asked him to give me one more day. Give me one more day just to make sure I'm sure, right, that that's what I wanted. And so he gave me one more day. And then I said, "Okay, I'm sure that's what I want." It's like, okay. Then he got quiet. And this is around the time, too, where he let me know, I was spiritually pregnant again. And I started thinking, oh, man, last time he got quiet. And I thought about last time what happened when I was spiritually pregnant. And, so right after that, everything flipped upside down. And the thing he had literally just asked me about, which he made, and it was a new promise to me, basically, on top of the other promises, right? That thing looked dead now, right? A lot of things look dead because every single thing flipped upside down right afterwards, right? And I'm like, God, why? Like, Daddy, why? We literally just talked about this. And I'm like, he was talking about doing miracles. I'm telling you guys about it. And I'm like, Daddy, you talking about doing miracles? I'm telling them you about to do miracles and all this stuff. And what he had to show me, he showed me through some people I follow. They were talking about Lazarus, and they were talking about the miracles that Jesus worked, bringing Lazarus back from the dead, saying what looked dead wasn't dead, so don't worry, don't fret. And so God added to that. I was in the car after listening to some of that word, and God added, because I was like, I mentioned, he said he's about to do some miracles. He said, what greater miracle is there than bringing the dead back to life? And I'm like, okay. I'm like, okay. So God is about to do some miracles, but he desires to show up and show out. So he had to allow a lot of things to appear dead to us. He had to allow us to appear like that, right? Because he's about to bring us back to life, right? Whatever you went through this past month and you were like, God, why? He's about to show up and show out and reverse it like it never happened. One morning he was talking to me about the cross and about how Jesus suffered and what he went through and how he was barely recognizable as a man. And I was just picturing everything, y'all. I've seen The Passion of the Christ a couple of times, and every time I see it, I'm crying like the ugliest cry. And I was just picturing it, and like, I don't know about y'all, but I think of what I would do if I was there, and he was just reminding me how Jesus was barely recognizable as a man, and we all have our cross to bear. We all have our cross to bear. And he was reminding me that, yes, Jesus did die. But 3 days later, he got back up. He said a lot of us right now, in a sense, from what has taken place, we are experiencing from carrying our cross, just like Jesus did, the death and the resurrection. There was no greater miracle that was performed. And so we are coming to a season of miracles. And I just want to encourage you that no matter what your situation looks like, even if it looks dead, even if it's something God promised you and it looks dead, God's going to work a miracle out of that. He allowed it to get to that point in that place just so he could come through and work a miracle out of that. Not only is he going to bring it back to life, but it's going to be better. It's going to be better. It's going to be fuller. It's going to be healthier. He is doing a new thing, you guys, and we won't know everything and we won't be able to figure it out. But I just want to share that for someone. He says people are basically, they experienced the part where it looked like they were dying. It looked like they lost. But he mentioned the death and the resurrection and how we all had our cross to bear. And the greatest miracle that Jesus ever performed was bringing the dead back to life. So y'all be prepared to be brought back to life in a mighty way. In a mighty way. All right, y'all. I love y'all. I pray this encouraged somebody. I love y'all, and y'all be blessed.